Yeah. I don't have my adapter yet.
Okay, I believe we are live, yes.
All right, welcome everyone to Executive Committee, August 25th at 6:36. Eric, can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Fisher?
Here.
Dr. Fisher?
Here.
Mr. Reimer?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Ms. Snell?
Here.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda or any edits to the agenda?
No edits, I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second?
We have to discuss what's going on, or is that the program?
Actually, is Jim here? Is he gonna present today? No, I can come
I don't believe Jim is here, and we decided last time if we left it on one more time and he wasn't here, we were kicking it out. So it'll be officially kicked out. No, I don't believe we have a need for an executive session. I think there's one on the agenda for full council. Cool. All right, so a second. Did I get a second? I can't recall. Eric?
Who was the,
I was-
you made?
Mel made the motion and I,
Y'all gonna let it die, it's taking too long.
Yes, second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Processing. Too late in the day. All right, I do not believe we have anybody registered to speak today unless did you attend to, okay, perfect, great. Minutes for our July 7th meeting. Do we have any updates or edits to our minutes or a motion to approve? Thank you.
I reviewed them, I think they're fine, I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Cool. Actually, the only thing I did have something for you, Eric. I think you have in yours, you've got topics and it lists the roll call for the committee
Mhm.
on the minutes, and Danny's not listed on that second side. For the first column, he's not listed, but he's on.
Okay.
So we'll just drop him in there.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Actually, I think moving forward, all the names were removed from topic there.
I
So
also did do that because I was like,
I'm
wow,
going based on what you do,
cool.
so that's fine.
Delete it.
Go on.
Okay. All right. So motion to approve.
There was a motion by,
That was first,
no.
yeah.
Second. All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. Motion passes. Let's see. Sorry, let me not get confused. All right. So Jim is not here today, so we are gonna kick that off. If you have any questions in reviewing the report that he sent, we can email and ask those questions. Otherwise, we have the park master plan. We've discussed this for several months now. And we got, thank you, Eric, for emailing out the questions to the two firms that did respond. So Danny, just to catch you up very, very quickly, we have two, we sent out an RFP, I don't know when, a long time ago. And we got a grant from the Hamilton County for $35,000, I believe, and that was for the park master plan. We've changed the use and need around that grant a couple times, but that's where we've landed. We submitted it to RFP and had a couple firms. We had two firms respond, and then one, after we asked multiple questions, kind of dropped out. So we were down to one, and then our engineering firm submitted a response. So because we're dealing with a architect landscaping company and an engineering firm, the two responses look quite different. Does that make sense? Because they're
Yeah, I
not.
didn't see the first one, I saw the second one, the engineering.
Okay. I can email you a copy of the.
$35,000 is to go towards the planning
Correct.
and to those.
So it is flexible what we can do with that money as long as it goes towards the park. It can go
Towards planning the park,
or
right.
it could go towards construction. But again, it just has to be within the general purview of improving our park.
Okay.
And when we released the RFP, it was for the design of a master plan.
Right.
That's what we had agreed upon for that. This was like March of 2024 for context.
And it doesn't have to be specified.
When we said, let's put it through an RFP process and like get some bids. The RFP bidding process didn't happen until
Much later.
a year later, maybe. I don't recall when. Okay, so here, you've got the responses. Thanks, Mel.
So this is just the latest, this is not the original.
Yeah.
So this is not that helpful, but this is the latest after, from the design architecture firm.
Yes.
Some clarification, like the clarifying questions. So I like actually how Dr. Mena, in that email you sent out, one is more like design or feel, and the other one is more like infrastructure. That's the engineers. So when she says we're comparing apples to oranges, that's kind of like.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, I was helpful for me. What is the actual purpose of a park master plan versus a conceptual plan?
Right.
Because that's actually what we asked for, and I don't think any of us really understood what that meant. So the master plan is like a high level for how you can potentially develop it and exploring the ideas and layouts. And it doesn't go into a ton of detail, right? So the difference between the two is the conceptual plan is going to be really general, and a master plan will get into more detail. But it also, the master plan is like more of a strategic document of like, how do you want to grow and use this park over the next 10 years? So that was helpful for me when we were asking lots of questions that I didn't have the answer to. All right, so do we want to go over the responses to the questions we drafted last time and then make a decision? And Eric, just to make sure I'm 100% clear, the 3,500 we kicked over to the walking path. Is that correct? 35,000.
I have to admit, it's not set in stone because it's in the general fund. So I mentioned those as sources of funding.
Yeah.
But if it was decided that
So we could
council wanted to
decide.
use the entire 35,000 towards the grant master plan, then it just comes from ARPA. It's just the way that I
Right,
phrased it, but
right.
it's not, it's not
Yeah.
set in
So
stone.
also to catch you up, in the last meeting, we were discussing whether or not, because these are two different levels of plans. And so does it make sense to just go with a engineering plan where like we're not going to think through the strategy, right? We're just going to do these 5 things that maybe we think in this room are priority. Or do we do the higher priced sort of strategy doc, right? Or do we just say we all want a walking path and put the 35,000 towards that because we know we might not have money to, like we might put 35,000 into this master plan and not ever raise the money to do anything with it. So that's where the conversation was the last time. Like we could put the money towards either of these plans, or we could just say, we don't know what our community wants, but we know they want a walking path and we're already doing that. So let's just use the money for that and be done.
So it's 35,000. We can use it on these 2 plans and/or.
Either of these 2 plans, or
And these 2 plans, it sounds like the engineers are more at the master plan high level or more the conceptual detail level.
the engineers are, you told us 5 things to put in the park and here's a plan of how to do those 5 things.
Okay.
They're kind of not either a master plan or the RFP was asking for a master plan and a conceptual plan.
Right.
The engineers are, tell us what to do and we'll tell you how it fits in this park.
Okay.
Right?
And then the other company is a landscape architecture
Correct.
company?
Right. Where what they're submitting.
Field.
Yeah, and what they're going to submit, like they will walk us through creating that strategy,
Right.
from my understanding, of like what do we want to do with this park? How do we want it to look? Not just the short-term goal, but the long-term vision,
Okay.
right? Where the engineers are like, we did a park survey at Juneteenth 3 years ago. Here's what we heard from community. You tell us what you want out of this plan, and we'll tell you where it fits.
Right.
Does that make sense? That's the too long didn't read version of the last like 8 meetings discussing it.
Yeah.
So, the architecture, like design firm, so what they have here in the latest thing, so task 1 is understanding,
Mm-hmm.
task 2 is the concept plans, and task 3 is the master plan, and this is their sum total,
36,000.
right?
Right.
And
Did
then.
they know that our budget was 35? And
They
just
did.
So that's
They
why
actually
other people
submitted
dropped
one that was
out
much
because
higher.
The first 2 were like $75,000, $80,000.
And we
Like, all right,
said-
let's go ahead and tell you.
Let me tell you what we're working with, and it's not that. So that's where it came down to this.
And that's why they went from 80 to 35. After we told them, what can we?
And we also had
Okay.
we also had to cut a couple of things. The RFP included that they would facilitate multiple community listening sessions, those sorts of things, and we had to cut that because
And now it's just understanding for 8,500.
That makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now parks, now again, this is
The engineers.
infrastructure stuff. Yeah, sorry, engineers. This is all the infrastructure stuff and then there. So this is a revision. What they first gave us maybe 15,000.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
now the 21, the reason why it's 21,000 is because now it includes cost estimates for each concept. Before they were just giving us 3 on paper concept designs without telling us how much these cost. But now it goes from 15 to 21,000. It's like if they tell us how much these 3.
And we
common
asked,
sense cost.
and we asked for that because that's included in the master plan from the
Yes,
other
that was
design firm.
included in this one too.
So it felt like that would make it a little bit more, still not apples to apples, but a little bit closer in like what we would get as an end result.
Okay.
Now we need to decide whether we want to move forward with either one of these or not, and earmark those funds for the walking path.
I guess I would want a little more refresher on what everybody kind of was thinking for a kind of a 10-year, just in your guys' minds, master plan for the park and what you thought the highest and best use of the park would be going forward.
Yeah.
You know, is it, do we want to be event focused? Do we want to be recreation focused? What's that mix, that ratio look like?
Mm-hmm.
And that way I kind of have an idea from where to view and lens it.
The reality is this group has not done that work.
Okay.
And I don't think that we're best suited to do that work. So when we got, in March of 2024, when we had a design firm in that sent us a proposal and I was asking questions. I don't know the details of what was submitted on the grant that we submitted to Hamilton County that got us to $35,000. But from my understanding, like that work has not been done. The only thing that has been done is that park survey that happened at Juneteenth, where folks were asked, like, what do you want to see out of this? But they weren't necessarily being done in conjunction.
Yeah.
So we submitted to both of these firms. We submitted, here's the park plan. There was also a document that got drafted, not clear where, why, or how, that had a couple other ideas on it. And what you'll see in the response from the engineering firm is they just said, okay, you told me these 10 things, here's 5 that you can fit in, right? So, and this is part of the discussion that we had last time, but do we actually, if we know what we want in the park, we have a clear vision, then we should just go with the engineers, because we don't need to do any of that discovery work. If we don't know what we want, we don't have a clear vision, my opinion is that we should go with the higher one because they'll help us guide it through that. Again, the question is whether this room is the right room to do that in, or is that community engagement? Is that in conjunction with rec? Who are the right people, right? To be having those conversations about what we want out of our park. I don't think it's necessarily exec, but it came to us and then it went away and then it came back. So we're still asking the question.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good. Because I think we're at that point where we do have some feedback. It's limited, but
Yeah.
it's feedback from the community.
Right, and we could go with that, or we could say we want some more. I don't know.
I would say probably broaden that out a little bit to get more feedback from more stakeholders in the community to really kind of see what we're looking at. But I mean, the people that I've talked to and the people you guys have talked to, I know Juneteenth and 4th of July and with the Jewish community, I'm not hearing vastly different things, but I would think with the communication starting to broaden from the administration to the community, I think in the future we'll have a way to really take that temperature. So I think I agree with you 100%. And that might be something where there's basic stuff that we know that we want, like
the walking path.
lighting and the walking path and a few other things. Because the lighting, no matter what we ever do on a 10-year node, we're going to need. Stuff like that. And as we understand what funds become available to pay for some of this stuff, if we want a splash pad or pickleball court or something like that, I think we're in a good position to really adjust once we have our foundation in place. So, I would thought.
So what I pulled up are the results from that park survey, and this is dated November of 2023. So this data is almost 2 years old, and we haven't really done anything with it other than now we do have a walking path. So this was data that Bryant O'Hamel collected. And some of it was from Juneteenth, a couple of years, I guess it would have been Juneteenth of 23, but also like there was a survey or something that went out. And so they put together this report and shared it with community engagement.
Yeah, so they did this over the course of a year, it looks like.
Yeah, something like that.
Community,
So
if you scroll down to the trees.
23. And what's not in it now, always emphasize it. Never forget at Juneteenth, they had this board up and they listed what you want at the walking path. You put a sticker next to what you want.
Yeah.
So a little boy comes up and says football, because football was not on the list.
Yeah.
And once football got on the list, they got all the stickers.
Right.
I don't know why I didn't make here, it might be in the text, I don't remember.
Right.
But I would make it a point to say, we came up with ideas that weren't even what the kids wanted. And so they wanted football. And I bring that up because, I like the idea of it being open for events, but you can do football, you can do soccer, you leave it open, all you can do is paint the grass.
Right.
So those are easy things without taking up space and you build a bunch of structures and stuff. It's just like a
Right.
cheap, easy thing, but that's also what they want.
Right.
Right.
Well, and
But it
it's,
just didn't make this list. But I remember we were all like, let's do basketball, let's do basketball, let's do basketball. Like, that seems cool, but what they actually asked for was football. We
Yeah.
thought they wanted basketball.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, that walking path, but you know, swimming pools, like, I hate to tell you, you're not getting that pool back.
Yeah.
We don't have pool money.
Pool
Like, I'm
money
sorry.
coming back.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
it's
We all want a BMW, but
Right.
we're dealing with Hyundai money here.
Right. So, but some of this we can get, like the landscape and beautification that comes with the walking path, just plant, you know, trees around the edges of it. So there's stuff we
And
can
some
take
of
some
that's
baby
already
steps.
there. It's
Yeah,
just a matter of,
So,
you know,
um,
attending to it.
yeah,
all right. So if we go back to what we're trying to do, I really don't want to put this on another agenda.
right.
So I would like to make, I think it's also fair, we've been stringing along the design firm, I think
That's
since
true.
January
Yeah, for a while.
in reality. So this is 8 months of unpaid labor that they've been dealing with, and the engineering firm for like 2 months now. So I would like to make a decision on whether or not we want to move forward with either of these.
What's your motion?
Sorry, can I also?
Yeah.
Two more questions. One question is this funding, is it like use it or lose it? Like
Yes,
if you spend up to $30,000 and
yes, we do need to tell them what we've used it for. However, since we have completed the walking path, if we decide to do nothing with it, we could say it went towards the walking path, and that's what we would report, and they would be happy with that.
okay.
And I'm
But
actually
that
not
was-
that mad at that option.
Yeah, that was also part of the pressure, because we should have used this money a while ago, like a year ago.
So, and again, I apologize if the narrative that I shaped when I put out those reports, I wasn't indicating that like, this is what the money's being used for and it's dead. We're
No,
longer
no,
talking
I
about it.
just,
I know you're not saying that, but I. just
no,
wanna
I brought it,
emphasize
and I
this.
also brought that up last time, is like, that is an option.
Right.
And like, I would honestly not be mad at that option. In my opinion, which I think I've shared, maybe not with you, I would rather do the larger strategic plan that's gonna cost more money, so we have a bigger vision, and we can also build the business district with all of this in mind, right? There's like development ideas that we're talking about for North Weehee, all of this stuff. I'd rather do that. If we're not doing that, I'd rather not slap more, like, that's an awful phrase. I would rather than just put it towards a walking path. I don't think we know enough about what we want to do that we're ready to just do the engineering. That's my opinion, but I am one person.
Yeah, I don't disagree with a lot of that, because you know what, when I first came on council and everything, I actually talked to the first finance fiscal officer, and I said, hey, what should I do? I'm new council guy. What do you think needs to happen as you're vacating the position? And he said, you know, you got to look 10 years out, and what are your capital expenses? You know, where are you going to be spending the money? What do you want to do? What do you want it to look like? And without that vision, I think it gets really tough
Right.
to make it. Now, and in the short term, I haven't really gone through the secondary. When I got the engineer's report, I'm looking at that, and most of that seems like we're going to do that stuff anyway at some point. But if we know that there's a tie-in maybe with engagement committee, and you know, we want to do something to tie what we do with the park in with what we do on North Weehee, which I'm not up to speed on North Weehee.
None of us are.
No, there's no plan.
Okay, no, that's bad. Thank you.
This is part of my point, where I don't want to waste money when we're not like gonna put a strategy for it. So either just put it towards a walking path, or let's not waste money on a plan we're not gonna do, or a plan for things that we already know we're gonna do, and we don't need them to put it into one comprehensive doc if we're gonna piecemeal it anyway, as we have money.
Well, if we do the bigger one, it seems like we're kind of creating a plan that we haven't really vetted very well, because we don't know how to mesh that.
Right, that is the first step, like,
This is an all
they will help
volunteer
us
group,
create
so I
one.
get it.
I think the other thing about this is that after we do either of these, we still need like design plans that can go to construction. Like there's still like 3 more steps after.
Oh, yeah,
this.
that
So,
park is not changing for years.
so,
in
right,
reality.
So these are like conceptual plans that no matter which one we choose, like there's still additional cost that's gonna go
Yep.
into it before we even put a nail in the ground.
Correct. No shovels in the
This is
ground
money
first.
for a plan, not money for the actual.
Not the
Right,
plan.
And
So we're
that's what
only
I'm saying.
gonna
It
come
sounds
back
like we
with
don't really know what we
$250,000
want
park,
to
and it's
use.
like, well, we spent $35,000 on a plan just to say we're gonna need $250,000 for a park. It's like, oh, well.
It's the pre-planning, and the other thing that I think touches on this in the MKSD one that I think gives it a little bit more of an edge is that it talks about phasing plans. And so they are gonna give an overall design, and then they have a design team that moves that to like construction-ready design. And they're gonna talk about phasing plans, which is like, when you have this amount of money, you can put this in. When you have this amount of money, you can put this in.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be, when you
All
have
at
$1 million,
once,
then that's when you can have a park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think that the 10-year vision is going to really, the 10-year vision is going to be based on more feedback, I think, from the community, where we really can identify, like, football was a big surprise. And that was, I don't know how many participants were in that survey, like 150 out of
It's a mix.
3,600, and some of them were children. So I think as we build our communication infrastructure, we're going to have a really good opportunity to do town halls and all that. As we start to identify sources of funding, then we can really shape a better vision. So, I mean, it seems to me that some of that infrastructure stuff, could still be done, because we got to do the wall over there where somebody gets hurt. We can look at the lights and everything, but we don't necessarily have to do the engineer's plan to do that. And we want to get full use of those dollars. So,
All right, so interest of time, we have 3 minutes left in our meeting. Mel, David, thoughts? Do you just want me to put forward a motion?
I'm still leaning towards the engineer, or just leave it at the walking path, where you were for the design or architecture towards the walking path. So,
Yep.
Correct. I think that where we'll all agree on is
Just the walking path.
The walking path.
Don't call it a weird,
really-
I got a walking
no, as I said last time, and I might change a little bit now, we need to say that there is a 10-year plan. We need to say we have to come up with a 10-year plan, really.
Mm-hmm.
And the North Lee has to play into that. But at
Right.
this point, we're at ground zero with that.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, then I feel like, okay, so we're gonna start building a plan. We should build the plan and the park plan.
In
be
conjunction.
part of the same.
Okay.
If that's the case, the only thing that we're all gonna agree on is to move the money to the walking path. So therefore, I put forth the motion to move the money to the walking path.
Second,
Okay. Aye.
all in favor?
I
All right.
Did you say
Well,
aye?
now Eric,
Okay.
you're not a
You're
liar.
not allowed to-
Now it's retroactively, speaking of retroactive, we'll get that in the full council.
Yeah, okay. All right, great. That is the answer. Eric, can you communicate to both of those organizations that we are not moving forward? We're not ready at this point.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna skip the website updates because I heard you all in community engagement. And I think maybe if that's okay, I'll just take that off and you all can share those updates in community engagement. Or do you want me to keep it on here? Okay, cool. All right.
Can I say something real quick? I don't know who's responsible, but I got on there for the calendar and a bunch of stuff was updated. Eric, I don't know if that was you or not, but it was a lot easier to.
You're welcome.
Eric has
I
done,
think the website's great. It's a great framework, but it just wasn't getting updated in a timely manner. And now that it is, I went straight to the stuff I
Yeah.
wanted today.
I'm so happy.
So
Eric has
that-
spent a lot of time updating that as well as the council reports page. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I
I
moved
did.
the council reports page to the top of the whole thing, so it's not like specific to any meeting. It's
Mhm.
what in the world.
Well, the fact that you have all the events actually on the calendar and it's current, that was awesome. So thank you.
All right, David, do you have an update for us on the management audit that you were working on?
So part of the audit, at this point, one of the main figures is not here, so that's off the table. And the other part of my report would probably suit the executive session, and I think it would be appropriate at the next meeting.
Okay, I can add that exec session at the next. No, I think he's saying the executive session for executive committee to review what his findings are in the management session. Or management audit, okay. Onboarding collaborative tool, Minna.
Yeah, so the onboarding document I have.
Really?
At the end of the last meeting, our legal counsel was saying that he was preparing a, presentation.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all the words that come to me. a presentation for, I think he said current, council members and then to do one again in November for.
Oh, great.
So,
Also just,
what?
so we could also just wait. It's not that far.
Right, so, so that, and then, he really wanted to collaborate with whatever I had in my document to make sure that we're.
Covering the
we're
same-
Sharing the same information.
Okay, perfect.
Basically, mine is gonna be a written form of his,
Okay, perfect. And then I know the collaborative tool piece with what Eric sent out that allows us all to log in to Goff Manor through the remote access. That helped a lot too.
Yeah,
So
so I'll talk about that all in my report, hopefully not spend too
I'll
much of your
cue
time on it,
you.
but I will,
when it's my report, since that was our goal.
appreciate it.
All right, great. I don't have anything else. Background check policy, I have had to sideline that, so I've not gotten an update for you. And my piece of the goals for this group on the pay equity, still waiting, so no update there. Our next meeting is going to be September 8th at 7 p.m. I will add an executive session, David, and motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Great. Thank you all.
Right, who was the second on that?